High performance. Segments versus pointers. Are 64-bit pointers too big? As a young teenager trying to teach myself about computers, I unironically started by learning assembly language. Having no previous experience, I didn't know it was odd to be inserting instructions one by one into a binary. I discovered C++ shortly later and was very happy to no longer have to do that. One of my favorite things I learned during this time is about segments. This is a technique from old 16-bit architecture that carried over into 32-bit systems and was finally done away with when 64-bit became mainstream. Segmentation is when you split pointers into two parts. The first points to a page and the second to the offset in the page. Kind of like having an array or a vector and using an offset into it. Segments have a very important place in modern programming when the goal is as fast as possible. They add some coding complexity, so you don't do this every day. Here is why they help. CPU cache. High performance in modern CPUs basically comes down to the cache. Does the memory access profile fit or not? Pointers are integers, the size of the CPU register. A 64-bit system has 64-bit pointers, 8 bytes. If you were programming around the time when computers were upgraded to 64-bit from 32-bit, you'll remember that recompiling for 64-bit slowed your programs down. This is why all your pointers doubled in size, and it didn't fit as well into the cache. Here's what that looks like. Look, we have some system memory and a CPU cache. If we fill it with pointers, taking a segment half the size of the system pointer, we can fit twice as many. But does this really work? I've implemented a JSON parser that utilizes this technique. Here are the results. The first three functions are template functions that allow you to change the size of the segment: 8-bit, 16-bit, 32-bit. The last two are open source JSON libraries that are using a 64-bit pointer. The benchmark was repeated 8,192 times for each function. The 8-bit and 16-bit functions perform similarly, but 8 bits still fits more into the cache and therefore is faster. But look at this. There is a leap between the 16-bit function and the 32-bit. That's a huge difference, 4 times. Keep in mind, this is the same algorithm doing the same work. We've only changed the segment size. Now that I'm looking at this graph, I probably should have compiled a JSON 64-bit function as well. I just didn't ever needed it because I've never parsed more than 4 gigabytes of JSON data at once. But I imagine the results would be basically in line with the bottom two functions. There is about a 3 times performance difference. So does this work? Yeah, it works. And when I have a critical section that I need to make faster, this is my go-to mechanism.